dress up, and
it's a lot of fun anyway if you just
write with quill pens. Yeah. I've heard of invitations, even wedding invitations, being made with quill pens. Yeah, but it's beautiful.
So then you squeeze it? Is that what you're doing?
Basically, just squeeze it. I'm going to get my hands really stained.
You're going to get sticky and stained when you do this.
So have some towels ready. That's all right. Have some towels ready. Usually I have stained hands from... I was picking up walnuts the other day, and I really stain your fingers. Okay.
It makes a beautiful color.
Oh, it's beautiful. And then we're gonna. That's great. Now that's good to show.
Is that good?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So you're just gonna squeeze it out until you've gotten most of the juice out of your smashed blackberries.
Right. As much as you can. And then we add a teaspoon of vinegar, a teaspoon of salt, and we stir it. We could just stir it around with this. Okay. Stir that good. Dissolve that salt real good. Now, if your ink, which this is a little thin, and what I've done before is that I put it back on a stove and boiled it for a little while, and very carefully simmered it down, boiled it down. And what I turned out with was this nice thicker ink. I made it a little bit thicker by boiling it down, and it makes a better writing ink. We do have another little ink that we purchased, and you can purchase your own ink, and that can be real nice too. But I thought, how wonderful to make your own berry ink and make your own.
That was so easy.
Well, so are you ready to write?
Sure. We should try this out.
This will be fun. Okay. All right. You probably want a scrap paper or practice paper first, and we're going to try. Our hand did it. Okay, there's a nice pen. Okay, here's the ink.
All right.
Once again, we're going to probably, I will say this too. We've been storing this in a cool area. You could probably store it in your refrigerator or, a real cool place. And I don't know, I haven't used this one yet. Do you want to
see how this works? You want to dip your pen in slowly, your new pen, and then kind of just shake it off just a little bit to get any, so you won't have too much.
Oh, wow.
That's beautiful.
It does take a little dipping. Did you ever notice in a movie or, well, I guess it would have to be a film. The folks are always dipping. Now we know why.
Oh, I see, because you run out of ink really fast.
Right. There we go.
You have to dip your pen in a lot. It works beautifully. Wow. Look at this, Mom.
I've noticed in some of the pen and ink, I've looked at some of pen and ink in a book. Sometimes it's thicker and sometimes it's thin. Now I know why.
Oh, because when you start out at first, your ink flows more freely, and so it's thicker. And then as you keep writing it, you run out of ink a little bit, so that's why you have to keep dipping it in.
It's the art of the feather pen, which after a while you realize it's part of the art of it. It's really beautiful. Isn't that kind of nice to make your own pen and your own ink? It would make great.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, that is the simple and easy way to make your own quill pens and your own ink, and then you can write letters with it or make invitations, and it's a lot of fun.
We're going to start out with the tripod. So, Cece, can you get one more stake? Make it a tripod. We're just going to easily take 3 stakes, and I believe about how tall is this? About 3.5 feet tall, I believe. You can make it any height. You can make it short or tall, whatever height. We thought this was a good height. So, Cece, if you grab some wire, we just got some thick wire from the good old hardware store, one of my favorite stores. And we're going to kind of measure this out so it's kind of even on all sides.
You want me to
hold it, and you can get the wire around it. Sometimes this is a 2-person job, but it turns out a really beautiful, beautiful bird feeder. All right. Okay. You can nail them at the top if you'd like to secure them. This is one of those things that's very easy.
We want to make sure we get it good and tight too and together. You don't want your bird feeder to fall apart. The birds get on it.
Surprise the birdies.
Off of it. All right, let's see if we take it up through here.
It's pretty simple. Doesn't take too long to make this one this first part, this first stage. We just used tomato steaks like we said, but you could use dowels, you could use limbs that you've just got laying around. So this is basically it on our tripod.
Yeah.
And after this, we're going to grab some grapevine. Now you can soak a grapevine in a tub, a bathtub, in your creek, just anything like that. And after you've gotten it soaked, now see, I just bought this, you know, for a few dollars at a craft store. You can find them at large craft stores or department stores. And what we do basically is we take them apart, we unwind them, and they come apart really nice. And this is what I'm going to use for my base, for my bird feeder tree. So, I'm going to...
You want me to bring this back?
Oh yes, we need the tripod back. We're going to take the large pieces and go around the bottom. This large pieces, see there's nice large pieces, and we'll start down there, and Cecilia will start wrapping. And what basically, basically what we do is you can wrap it nice, and what we'll be doing is we'll start wrapping it starting at the bottom with the large pieces at the bottom, and we'll just kind of be making a giant wreath, won't we? We'll just be wrapping it. You don't have to worry about going in and out or anything like that. Just wrap it up. And if you have bare spots, just keep wrapping. Okay.
Here, you take
You
this.
have to be careful. It can get...
It definitely is a 2-person job,
Yeah.
maybe even the 3-person job.
All right. Okay. And it gets very messy, so have your broom handy, or you might want to put something down if you do it inside. There we go. There we go. So you're just almost constructing the wreath back.
But around the tripod.
Right. Okay.
Now, should we wire the grapevine to the tripod?
We can take a little wire, take your thinner wire there. It's in the little tool box.
Okay.
And we're just going to pull this apart. See how nice that comes apart? It's wonderful. And don't worry if it does come off in sections. That's fine. We'll still work with it. Okay.
So, Mom, what happens when you get towards the top and you have extra grapevine? What do you do with it?
Trim it off. One of the ways I decided to decorate this tree was I took a piece of yarn because I wanted it to spiral.
Oh, okay.
And we decorated some. And what makes a grapevine so easy, we'll just stick these decorations in there. So what I did was I took a piece of yarn. Here it is at the top. And actually I started where I had already decorated right in here. In the fall you can find a lot of beautiful things, leaves and everything. So anyway, here's my yarn, and I'm just going to use my yarn, as you can see, as like a guide. And I wrap my yarn all the way around my tree, like kind of in a spiral, to get the idea of my design. Another thing we did was we took some of our dried flowers from our garden, yarrow and globe amaranth, or globe flowers, or you can just find some dried flowers somewhere and group them together like that. And we're going to stick those in some places. The birds will love these seeds. Sumac is very easy because it has a nice stiff stem. It's really nice. And you can just put that stem, try not to get mud, you can just put that stem right in the wreath. And I like to make it go this way. Cece kind of aim everything going this way kind of. And these are really beautiful. I like to put them, they're like just like bouquets. Or just stick them in. The nice thing is that this stuff just fits in wonderfully. Now, the purple coneflower, a lot of people do grow purple coneflower in their garden. Goldfinch love purple coneflower. This is some tansy that came out of our garden. I just turned it upside down and it dries really nice. The little buttons, the flowers from tansy. It's a really neat herb. And this, once again, is raffia. And I just cut some raffia to look a little wild, you know. And I put a little wire in there, and I think I'm going to put this right in the top so this looks really kind of natural and wild. This is mullein, and the birds love mullein. Look at that.
That is
Isn't that
so
nice?
neat. And
That's
you
a
can
seed.
You can see the seed pods on there, so the birds will eat that.
Yeah, you can take as long as you want on a tree, or you can, you know, probably do one and not too long, and you could probably fill the whole tree, couldn't you?
Oh yeah, I'm sure you could.
It's easy to get in there, isn't it? You know, you can take these sumacs apart too. Doesn't have to be sumac. Find some other red berry. And the birds, you know, the birds are going to eat the berries that they can eat. I used to kind of worry about it, but they're not going to eat things that aren't good for
Oh,
them.
this is so beautiful.
Now, how about coneflower up in here somewhere? I had some, okay. How about in the front? Can you see that okay? Is it getting, not that the birds, they're going to love it. They're going to love it. Okay, let's see. Now, what do we have here for the top? How about a pretty bouquet, too?
Oh yeah.
Okay. And I just, once again, this was flowers out of her garden. Yarrow is very easy to dry, and these straw flowers come dry almost. So you can hang them upside down and they dry like that, and then you've got your little bouquet. Well, it's hard to know when to stop.
Sure is. Good job, Mom. It's
Thanks.
beautiful.
It is pretty.
That you can put on the edges of wash rags and dish rags, on the edges of baby blankets,
That's pretty.
That's pretty.
on the edges of pillowcases.
Oh, I like
You
that.
can put it on almost any edge of.
Right now, I'm
material.
edging a t-shirt, a cotton t-shirt, to make it
Yeah.
look a little more feminine.
Yeah. It's really, really easy and simple. And when we first learned how to, I think Jasmine and I and Hannah probably all went crazy doing every dish rag we could find in the house.
Right.
What we have here is just a normal dish rag here.
Or a
that-
washcloth.
Or a washcloth. It can be either one. Cotton washcloth. And I have my cotton yarn here.
Or crochet thread. This is usually called crochet thread in your craft stores, and we found a lot of this at thrift stores too. A lot of people, you know, stock up on this and then they find out they don't want to do it anymore, so that's where you can find and pick it up at thrift stores.
Yep. I've got a nice little wad here. I think we had a little bit of a tangle, but
Which
What
you
I'm-
can unwind it and put it in a ball too, or
Right.
just crochet right from the spool.
right. So the first thing you want to do, this is a size, it's an I size crochet hook here, and you can find crochet hooks most anywhere.
Craft stores,
Craft
hobby
stores.
stores.
Fabric stores have them. What I'm doing here in my yarn is I just made a slip knot. I'm gonna make one of
I have
those.
to learn this again because I always forget this
I
part.
like
I always
to
have
watch this,
Cece
too.
start me. Okay. Well, that's
So
easy.
it's a slip knot, so you can pull it out and loosen it or tighten it, or. And I want to put that on my crochet hook, about right here, and then I'm going to tighten it just a little bit.
So
There.
it's snug.
Yeah, but it still can slide on there because you want it to be able to slide. Now I'm going to go to the end of my wash rag here, and I'm going to poke. I like to start at the corner, so that's a good starting place. I just poke my crochet hook through there, and I'm going to grab this side of the yarn, and that.
Should we cut the tail?
Oh, it's fine.
Okay.
And I'm going to take the yarn like that around my finger and wrap it one time around the crochet hook. Sometimes it doesn't stay. And then I'm going to pull right through the hole.
Oh, that's
So you have 2 loops now on your hook. Now I'm going to do one more round, and I'm going to pull through both loops. So I've got one loop there. And now this part is going to be called a chain stitch. And I'm going to go 1, wrap around, pull through. That's 2, wrap around, pull through. 3, 4, and 5. I'm going to do 5 chains. And I'm going to go in about a 1/2 inch from the last part I went in. Stick it through, just like I did before.
So you have 2 loops.
2 loops again.
Make another one.
Make another loop. Pull through
Pull
both
through.
loops, and then start another chain.
Wow.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh, that's so pretty. And see how it makes a little
A little
loop there.
loopy there.
And if you didn't want to do 5, you could do 3 if you wanted to do them
closer together or smaller.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's
just
really
we'll
pretty.
go.
And so you just keep
You just
repeating
keep doing that about 1/2 inch, poke through.
That's
Wrap
great.
once, got pull through, and then you just do your chain. It's really easy. It's so fun. I think it's almost addicting.
Yes.
Now, to finish, I have one over here that is almost all the way finished. Finish is pretty simple. I'm going to finish making my chains here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, I'm going to go in. This is where I started before I went all the way around the wash rag. So I'm just going to go back through the hole I started in. And here's my thing. Wrap it around. Pull it through. Whoop, got a little bit of the rag there.
Yeah, you just have to watch that.
Pull it through. Wrap it again. Pull it through and just pull out that loop like that. Now, we have a pair of scissors.
You could use a knife.
Use a knife.
We'll use a knife. I'm going to just cut this part right here
That's from your ball
from
of
my
thread.
bowl of thread. Yep.
Okay.
And I'm going to see my little tail that I left here.
Oh, that's why you leave it.
Oh.
I'm going to tie these two together like this.
And then it'll stay.
Yeah.
And then you can
Just-
trim that.
and then you can trim that
With
off.
some scissors.
And
Okay.
it's so easy to do.
So now it's not going to unravel.
Right.
Well, that is so
Show
nice.
that pretty
And then you've
rag.
got
Isn't that cute?
Right.
Really adds a
Beautiful
touch.
finished-
Nice.
Wash rag. Now, like I said, you can do it on wash rags or dish rags or
Right. I think
pillowcase.
something that doesn't have too tight of a weave, like this,
Right.
Yeah, that's what
this
I was
pillowcase, I went ahead and pre-poked my holes with a knitting needle. And speaking of knitting needles, Mom is going to show us how to make some knitting needles
Okay,
now.
can I see that knitting needle? Sure. All right. Well, I like natural, of course these are nice too, but I like a natural wood knitting needle. And so, and it also makes a nice gift for those who knit. So what I did was I went to the hardware store once again, one of my favorite places to go, as y'all know by now. Anyway, and I found some nice wooden dowels. You could probably carve out some knitting needles from a walnut tree or, you know, from something on your farm or in your yard, but these dowels are already nice and straight for me. And what I do, I wanted to make these knitting needles right here. So what I do to make my own knitting needles was I took the knitting needle that I had, the pair of knitting needles that are metal, and I measured it, and I think it comes out to be about,
other end.
okay, have to get the right end. It's around, okay, this is a 10-inch knitting needle. I wanted something a little longer, so I think it's around 13 and a half. So this is how, basically, and how easy and fun it is to make homemade knitting needles. I could have ordered them, but I saved shipping because when I was in my hardware store, I just picked up my rod. So somebody want to help me hold them down in my trusty saw out here. And once again, well, I just took a knitting needle and measured. I need probably a little, well, a
Here,
little
you
knife.
can
I
get
can
the
notch it, right? Like that. So I took my little rods and notched them where I'd like to, how long I want them. About like that. And I would take, actually you can make a pair of knitting needles with one dowel just fine, probably. This one's not quite so large, but it'll make a nice needle. And what's nice about it, it'll make a great present, maybe to some child that's just learning to knit. Got it? I don't want to saw your hand, honey. Okay, now I have the size I need, and now I have a little trusty pocket knife, and you could probably do it on a, could carve out a tip.
Oh, so you're just gonna...
Yeah. Just
So
start.
yeah, how far up are you starting?
Well,
Maybe a ½ inch, it looks like.
I don't really, I think
You don't
what I
measure,
like
do
to
you?
do, not really. I just keep going until I get a tip that's,
I think that's how the commercial ones are made, about a ½ inch, maybe a little bit less, and then they start graduating down.
okay. So I just keep doing that until I've got a nice, a tip there that my yarn will be able to slide on. That's the idea, is being able to, you know, slide that yarn on real nice. And then what I want to do is sand it up real nice. And you know, you don't want I didn't want the point real sharp, especially if children are going to be using this knitting needle.
So you're starting with a heavier grade sandpaper first, and then to finish it, you want to get a finer, just fine sandpaper so that it'll be
That's
nice
right.
and smooth.
Then I smooth it with this. Of course, another wonderful thing about the knitting needle is you could stain it if you'd like. You could paint it. And if you want to encourage your children to make knitting needles, they can really have fun with the different tops. See, I've got my shape now, and all I have to work on is maybe a little top, kind of like the same principle as this little top. It keeps your yarn from sliding off. You can be creative in the way you finish these knitting needles up. It is a wonderful, fun project to do.
I have a lot of cookies that have been baked, that we baked here. And then we have a wide mouth quart jar, which is important because if you have a small mouth quart jar, your cookies are not going to fit in there. So even with smaller cookies. So you got a wide mouth quart jar, and we also have some pieces of fabric here that we cut out. I think we used a small plate for a pattern. You can
Saucer.
saucer, trace off a circle, and then cut it out, and you can use
Pink
whatever.
and shears.
Yeah. For the edging to look cute, you can use scallop scissors, you know, and whatever kind of cute material you have on hand, or you can go to a fabric store and get some of your favorite material. I like this, the checkered kind. Basically, we're just going to layer the cookies in this jar, right?
That's right.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
Let's see. Would you like to help me
Sure.
with that?
Okay, sometimes I might go in. It won't matter, will it?
Nah, you just stack them in there.
Okay. Okay.
There we go.
Oh, these are chocolate chip.
Oh, they smell good.
I know.
Is that
They do
it? Is that
smell
about it?
wonderful. Yeah.
All right. Now, do we
Okay.
have the lid for this?
Go ahead and just put the
Cover it?
ring on.
All right.
Cover it like that. We can show them both ways.
That's going to be so cute. And then we just have some simple jute here, just string that you can get at any craft store. Or you can use different things. You can use ribbon if you like to use ribbon instead. And we're just going to take it around here and tie it on. There we go. We're just going to tie it in a bow. And you can use the string if you'd like to put a name tag for a gift on the end of the string. That holds it on nicely.
Buttons are really cute to decorate
They
with.
are, to accent that.
Accent, so you can run the button through the string sometimes, or you can just take a little glue.
I'm going to trim these ends
I
up.
wonder if we can try that.
There we go.
A little bit of this glue here and dot it on there.
Mm-hmm.
Dries pretty fast. Might need to set up just a tad. Whoops. Okay. And then just stick it on there.
Is it going to stay?
Maybe not. We might need to let the glue dry a little
Okay.
bit. That.
You might want to give it a little time to let
Let
that
it
dry.
This is one that is already done. Look how cute that
That is adorable with the button in the
little
middle.
button. And it's the same principle. Cookies in
Yeah.
a jar. this one is so darling. We put a little ribbon on that one. Isn't that beautiful? And then some
That one's
buttons.
fun. I love the cookies in that one.
Yeah, these are a little different kind of strawberry filling cookies. What's so wonderful about these cookies is we can already have them made up and have them on our counter, and somebody comes over and have dinner or whatever, have a wonderful night of fellowship, and then we can give it to them as a gift. And Hannah, I love what you did here. This is
That was
precious.
fun. Yeah, this was
So
really
cute.
simple. What I did with this is I took a button that had pretty large buttonholes there, and I just threaded the jute through the buttonholes and then just pulled it up till it was tight. I thought that was really
And
cute.
what do you call those?
I don't know. It looks
like
a little
a
bit
tie?
like a string tie or
String
something.
tie. It's cute. Here's another one, just different flavor, maybe kind of winterish. Anyway, these are precious.
They
I like
are.
that.
It's fun and simple and easy to do.
One of my favorite things to make is gift baskets. They are so much fun. So we're gonna make a gift basket here, and the first thing we need, of course, is a basket or a container to put your gifts in. So you're gonna need a basket, and then we like to use some filler. The first filler you put in is some newspaper, because you want your gifts and stuff to show up in the basket, right, Mom?
Right.
Next, you're going to need some sort of filler, and this is going to show, so you want this to be nice. The main idea is you want to cover your newspaper or crinkle paper that's down in the bottom. You can even sometimes use small boxes, but you want to lift your gifts up. That's what you want to do. So you spread that in there. So you have your basket and your filler. Now you want your gifts, and I think for this gift basket, I'm going to make like a tea basket. This would be a great gift for Mother's Day or something. So I found a saucer and a teacup, and we've got some honey here, and some chamomile tea, and a honey, what do you call this? Dipper.
Dipper. Yeah.
And a pretty spoon.
This is nice.
Yeah, and then a tea ball.
And you can a lot of times find baskets at flea markets and yard sales and thrift stores.
Oh, yes. You
And
don't
even
have
the
to-
little teacup, right?
Yeah, the teacup and saucer was found at a little thrift store or something. So we're going to start assembling this, and I think this would look cute standing up. So we're going to stand that up.
Yeah.
Of course, it's easier to work from the opposite way, but I think it'll look okay. In this way. We're going to put our teacup in there, and I put a little
Doily?
paper doily in here because we're going to stick the honey. I think this would look pretty with the honey in the cup
I
already.
like how you do that, Jasmine. That's beautiful.
Yeah. Then we're going to put the chamomile tea over on this side. You kind of want a balance, and what did you tell me earlier, Mom? You said contrast.
Oh, yes.
Contrast. So we have the yellow chamomile and the dark honey, and it matches the colors in the plate too. And then we're just going to stick this spoon and honey dipper in there, and we embellished the honey dipper because it was such a light color. This is cardstock, and then I put a lighter parchment paper over it, and I just cut a circle and punched a hole in it with your hole puncher. And we love ribbons, and we get ribbons from, you can find these at thrift stores too. You don't have to buy any of this new, except maybe your honey and your tea, but for these gift baskets you can use stuff that you find at thrift stores or whatever. You don't have to spend a lot of money on this. I thought that would look cute just to hang the little tea ball there. And I'm just going to glue a little gold
a
ribbon on
tad.
it.
Just
A little bit of glue. And we found that living without electricity, wood glue and even rubber cement works very well.
Works wonderful.
You just have to wait a little while for it to dry.
Another idea that I had the other day was for a little garden gift. And a little friend of mine, I made the measurements of a little garden tool. Actually, it could be a garden caddy or a little toolbox. Yeah, we thought it was darling. And so we had this friend make these up for us. You could probably even maybe spray paint it or paint it blue or yellow or red. I like natural, so I left it natural. I filled it with straw, and then I put in some seeds and some trowels, tools for digging in the garden, and some flower seeds and gloves, and it
that's
makes a
cute.
very cute gift. And of course, I stuck this up. This is a little plant. They call them plant pokes.
Plant pokes.
And I thought it was darling. It kind of matched everything.
You just embellished it with the raffia ribbon and a little dried flower. That is really
It'll
cute.
stay. Sometimes you have to kind of secure it up
Right.
there with a little glue or something like that. That's how we put little different baskets together. This basket, we call our homestead basket. Once again, I think we found this at a flea market, didn't we? This nice sturdy basket. We like those. And most of this basket is a little bit of everything we make. Homemade dipped candles, beeswax candles.
Soap, homemade soap.
Salsa.
Oh yeah, garden fresh salsa. And I used this is another thing about tags and
that was
and
cute.
labels. This was wallpaper. We just picked this up at the a department store, or sometimes I've even found this at yard sales or something. Someone starts wallpaper and it has extra
Border, wallpaper.
Yeah. And then I just used rubber cement to glue it right on the jar. I just cut it out, you know, around there and put salsa.
You wrote the word salsa, right?
I did. I just kind of copied the font.
Okay.
And then we have some herb vinegar.
Some loofahs we grew, but anyway, it comes
Navajo.
basically from our farm or homestead, gifts from our
That's cute.
own bounty that we were able to share. This we thought was really fun and cute.
That is sweet.
Actually, I started it and Jasmine finished it. It was like she just had to have something to do with it. It was
Where's
really
its
cute.
Tag? It has a
Okay,
tag too.
I think it was right here.
Okay.
Here's the tag. This darling little gift is, this is a stainless steel milk pail. It's actually, I gave the milk pail to Hannah for milking our goats. But I thought it would make the cutest little gift. So I made the little sack up. And I put cowboy coffee. I just put it, I wrote that with black magic marker, but you could stitch on that and make it really nice and old-timey look. I tied it here so it looks old-fashioned.
You
This
put
is
coffee beans in here, didn't you?
yeah, coffee beans. And then this is a little creamer, and I found an old
I think
recycled.
this had like coffee, cold coffee in it or something.
Yeah, cold coffee
Some kind
drink,
of drink.
but it kind of looked like a creamer jar. And just a little bandana, a
that's
little cow.
cute.
Jasmine tied a little raffia.
And then again, we used the wallpaper border to make a tag. It had a cow on it. Thought that would be neat. And then you could write down to and from, you know, or just a little message. And this makes a great gift. And just tie that right on there into the bow somehow.
We thought this was kind of fun, you know. They get a
is.
nice little bucket, useful bucket, and
That's
okay.
sweet. We want to show you one more thing with gift baskets. It's fun to make.
Well, we like to do all kinds of ties and ribbons and
Embellishments.
bows, embellishments. Let's see, I'm trying to get some more out of this.
This is
Long enough? I think
Yeah.
this is long enough. What you like to do is, if say you have one color of twine, but you'd like a little red in there or something. So I found this kind of rustic red yarn that would be great. Okay, but we have to kind of spread out a little,
Right.
don't we?
We're gonna make a cord.
We're gonna make a cord, and it's gonna be wonderful to tie with. Now you have to pull it. Okay, now Jasmine's gonna twist that away, right? And I'm gonna twist this way. Okay,
so
get
twist
going.
opposite.
Opposite ways. A lot of times we drop it, and then we have to try it again. Okay,
I think this is tight.
get it as tight as you can, and you're gonna see something really neat. We
Right in the
love
middle.
to do this.
Put your finger in the middle, and then pinch both ends.
And
Got
then you got it in the middle, right? And you let go.
Of that end. That end.
Did I let go the wrong? I sure did, but look,
It's okay.
it
You want to
worked.
hold your,
Okay,
because these could come
but
apart.
it did
so.
work, didn't it?
Yep.
Okay,
And
so
then-
look what I have. This
Then you knot this
nice. Yeah.
So that it
knot
doesn't
that.
come apart.
Now you can do this with great big long pieces. You can use 3 or 4 or 5 pieces
we
and
should
twist.
make
It makes
a
them
bow.
really beautiful. You can make a bow now with
We should
it.
put it on our homestead.
Oh yeah, that'll look really homesteady.
And we hope you'll have fun making these beautiful and creative gift baskets.